Hello, what of YouTube? I'm back from vacation, and if you're wondering why the title is the way it is, and me saying the stuff I'm saying, I'll explain in a minute, but let me just kind of show you the shit I got while I was on vacation. I got this, fucking love this shirt, this, and this. Can't tell I'm a huge Gambit fan, and when I got home today, I picked up this. Oh, the key for the win. So obviously, this review is going to be coming sooner than this one was supposed to. Again, I'm sorry. But the reason why this review is being recorded after I returned, when in my Machine Head review, I had said it's done, and it's blah 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 blah. It's kind of half telling the truth. In that review, I had filmed part of the opening skit, which is what I showed you, and I also had it done to present, but not presented. So I was kind of half right, or half telling the truth. I'm sorry if you're upset, but don't be. It's out now. You're watching it. Hopefully you're having fun. So yeah. Let's talk some Metallica. This is part 1, the 80s. If you would like to skip ahead to part 2, click the TV. If you would like to skip ahead to part 3, click the fedora. I'm going to keep talking, just in case you decide to not skip ahead. Those will go in a second, but in this part I'm going to be covering what most consider Metallica's golden years. These 4 albums that I'm going to cover are regarded by many as metal classics, some regarded as the greatest metal album of all time, and yeah, I love these albums. To kind of give you a brief sum up, but why don't I stop talking in the intro and get this shindig started. And the first album they released is called Kill 'Em All, which was released back in 1983, and this album is fucking amazing. For a starter, for a band to start with this sort of album is in-fucking-sane. To kind of preface this, I won't have really many negatives to say about these 4 albums in this review. This is probably one of my favorite debut albums. It's not my favorite. One of my favorites. I mean, you have some thrash metal classics on here. You know, the 4 Horsemen, Motor Breath, Whiplash being this pit anthem with the build-up of the drums in the beginning, and just these amazing blistering guitars and solos. Same with Hit the Lights being just this intense build-up. I mean, they came out of the gate swinging hard. True, the guitar was written by Dave Mustaine. Kirk plays it well. It doesn't sound like something he would do if you know Kirk's style, but he plays it pretty well. I mean, you have James's just screaming vocals, some of Lars's best work as a drummer. You have the incredibly well-written and performed bass solo by the late Cliff Burton, who is my favorite bassist in this band. Their anthem, Seek and Destroy, just these crazy awesome songs that are regarded as classics by just about anybody in the metal community. If you have not heard this Metallica album, give it a listen. It's fantastic. I fucking love this album. My favorite song on the album is Phantom Lord, and you'll notice with my Metallica songs, I like the epic songs. This is one of the few tracks on here that has a very big sound, and that's the thing with Metallica. They're a thrash band, but they're a thrash band that's not typical to the big ones like Slayer or Anthrax or Megadeth, where they focused on speed a lot of the time. Early Anthrax, if you don't know, was very fast. They kind of changed that, but I'll talk about that when I review Anthrax. They had just this big sound developing. A lot of the songs on here have a big-ish sound, but they're very thrash-heavy. They're very rooted in that thrash sound. And this is the thrashiest album, at least in my opinion. But Phantom Lord has that keyboard opening with that just epic dong, 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 and it fades into this great riff. I fucking love that song. I love this album. Really no flaws. Oh my god, I love it. I definitely recommend it to anybody. That's pretty much my praise. Love this album. Changed up the camera angle a little bit, but the second album they released was called Ride the Lightning, and that was released in 1984, and Metallica basically took their sound and made it huge. Like I was saying on Phantom Lord on the last album, they have this big sound to them. They really showcased it on this song. Even the thrashy songs, like Fight Fire with Fire, Creeping Death and Trapped Under Ice, that are played faster, sound big. You know, I don't know what they did, but they just took their sound and just stuck a 10 up its ass and just opened it. They have the bigger songs, like the bigger epic songs, like Ride the Lightning to an extent, For Whom the Bell Tolls, just these bigger single chord heavy songs. They have a ballad with Fade to Black, opening with acoustic guitar, and, you know, it being so dark and not necessarily heavy, being about suicide, that has this rising to a climax of an awesome, long strung out solo. This epic instrumental with the last credits of Dave Mustaine and Call of the Cthulhu, being probably my favorite instrumental of theirs aside from the bass solo, Anesthesia. Really, the only nitpick I can give about this album is one that I can't really explain, and that's Escape. I don't know what it is about this song. You know, I have lots of friends who are Metallica fans, and they themselves, I guess, can't really justify why they don't like the song. I can't really do it. I was talking to my dad about it today, in fact. I brought up this song, and he didn't really have an answer for me as to why he didn't like the song, or why Metallica fans didn't really like the song. And I don't really know. I mean, it's not a bad song. It's just, I guess it just doesn't fit the standard that this album sets. I really can't give a definite reason as to why, but yeah, that's about really all I can say. I don't have any justification for it, but yeah. My favorite song on the album is For Whom the Bell Tolls. I think it's this awesome, epic song. Yeah, that's about it. And the third album they released was called Master of Puppets. It was released back in 1986, and if you've seen the list video, which isn't back up yet because I have been delaying, re-editing it, because it's a lot of footage, blah, 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 this is my favorite metal album of all time. Literally, I have nothing negative to say. It's the perfect metal album, to me, start to finish. Battery being this fantastic, epic build-up of an opening track, fading into probably one of the best title tracks of all time. Master of Puppets being this long, not really strung out, just well-paced track. The Thing That Should Not Be being my favorite song on the album, with kind of like For Whom the Bell Tolls, this just slower-paced, epic song. They have the fourth track, Ballad, with Sanitarium, being about insanity. That's my mom's favorite Metallica song. It's just well-written, well-played. It's the last with Cliff Burton, sadly. He died on this tour in Sweden. The solos, perfect. The drums, orgasmic. James sounds at his best on this album. I love this album. I mean, I can't praise this album any more than I ever have. I can never get tired of any of these songs. Damage Incorporated is this thrash classic to me. I mean, this just fantastic close, because I mean, it kind of has this dip down through Orion in terms of mellow, but then it kicks back up with Damage Incorporated in this closer, and just start to finish, this album is a classic. I fucking love it. Most metalheads fucking love it. May not be their favorite, but it's most likely in their top 5. I mean, I fucking love this album. You can't really get any better than this to me with old metal or even, like, newer metal. Like, metal hasn't really met this standard. It's come close. With a lot of albums, it has come close to this album. Doesn't surpass it. It's a fantastic release. Plain and simple. I mean, I wish I were saying more on this. I mean, my last two reviews were about 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes. I mean, honestly, I'd just be praising Metallica to no end. I mean, I love this band. I love these albums. I think that they are classics. Most agree with me. Anyone who doesn't has a stick up their ass. I mean, that's about all I can say. The guitars, bass, drums, everything on this album is perfection. I mean, that could just be me talking like a Metallica fan. I don't really know, but I mean, most people in the metal community would agree with me. My favorite song on the album, as I said before, is The Thing That Should Not Be. Yeah. I mean, it's Master of Fucking Puppets. Is anyone really... Who really is going to disagree with... I challenge you, viewer of this video, to find a flaw in this album. I do. I challenge you to do it. However you want to tell me, do it. I just fucking love this album. Thing That Should Not Be favorite song. Let's move on. And the fourth album they released, and the last one I'm going to cover in this video, is called And Justice for All. It was put out in 1988. Here's my copy of it on vinyl. Jason Newsted was the bassist on this album. He replaced Cliff Burton, who, as I said in the last part, died. And, I mean, this album takes their sound in a new-ish direction. The drums get a little more technical. This is probably some of Lars' most technical / fastest work. You have Dyer's Eve being probably his fastest song he's ever done. You have songs like Shortest Straw with that opening that are somewhat different for him, and Harvester of Sorrow is kind of the same. The drums are just a little more technical on this album than throughout the rest of the career. I mean, I love it. I think it sounds great. Probably the biggest gripe I have with this album is that you can't really hear the bass, and that's the thing with Metallica. Ever since Cliff, they've tuned down the bass. They just haven't given it the forefront that it either deserves or just doesn't get. I wish I could have heard Jason's work a lot more. He's not really prevalent in this band. To Live Is To Die is probably the most prevalent the bass is on this album. The bass lines and the bass solos were written by Cliff. It's kind of was done in homage to him. And, I mean, yeah, it's a fantastic album. As a follow-up, it's still fairly solid. Not as good as it has been, but, I mean, I still love the album. This album did get them notoriety with One being their first really big song. That's something most people don't get, or at least forget, is with Metallica was an underground band. As weird as that sounds, they were an underground band. They didn't really get radio play like they do today. But, yeah, I mean, this album's great. Lyrical content, a little different for them. I mean, they do talk about politics, but it's a little bit more prevalent on more songs. This has one of my favorite, like, top 5 Metallica songs, in Harvester of Sorrow, which is my favorite on this album. I love the way the lyrics are composed, the way that how James has written it, like how the wording he uses and the wording he chooses just sounds very good on that song. Yeah, that's pretty much all I got for part 1. Again, to see part 2, click the TV. Part 3, click on the fedora. That's part 1, folks. Metallica reviewed. Hopefully, I'll see you guys on part 2. If not, you guys have good days, love situations, and I'll see you another day.